Okay, welcome back, guys. I'm gonna send some mail out. Um, let's see, where do we have it? There we have it. Uh, and we go there. There we go. Now I think everything is set up as it should. Welcome back, guys. Sorry I had to delete things, but and I think, oh, what a day, man. Jeff, I emailed the link to you, buddy. And CR, I have also sent a new link. You still don't know what to say, buddy, but you know. And anyway, guys, welcome back, Mark.
Hey, I never left.
No,
Yeah, that's a mess. That's always a mess.
it was a legit channel, but then it was.
Oh crap! CR found us, man.
Yeah.
KC's back. No.
But
Oh, wait,
anyway,
you're in Canada. You can't have my food. You have to cross the border first. Oops.
yeah. But anyway, guys, I think we have to restart begin from the beginning again. But,
Yeah, might as well.
But anyway, how to transition from normality into SHTF world. Yeah, that will be a tough one for those who are not prepared, but it will be a little bit of a shock for most people, and even for those who are prepared.
Well, it's just less of a shock.
Yeah, you lessen the shock.
There's probably always going to be some sort of issues or shock value because the nature of the situation, right? Let's just say hurricane, tornado, fire, flooding, right? You're going to be stressed no matter what.
Yeah.
So, but preparedness dictates that if you prepare in advance, you reduce that shock value.
Hey, Slippery Pickle, good to see you, brother.
Hey, Pickle.
And Dana B says hi.
Hey, Dana.
Yeah, and don't forget the toilet paper.
Yeah.
But information is crucial no matter what.
You got to be careful where you get your information from, because some people are just going to say things that, I heard this from a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy, and this is what's really going on. And the radio may or may not tell you anything. And you got to try to figure it out for yourself by compiling all the data and concluding what you can conclude.
Yeah. Haley's a lot. Good to see you. Yeah, exactly. If you hear from a guy that heard something from another guy who heard that from a friend and a friend and a friend, etc., how much value does that information have? Not much, because when it goes from person to person, people tend to forget the original version, so they try to come up with their own version, but it sounds like similar to the original version. So that can, you need to be vigilant when it comes to information, but you still need the information.
So you need multiple
And
platforms of being able to receive information. And if the power totally goes out, you may have, shortwave radio, CB radio, just regular AM, FM, whatever, ham radio, whatever you can get. And then you just have to compile all the data from all those different places and whoever's talking about it and try to decide whether or not it's credible, or, a train derailed and took out one of the main substations in your city and just wiped the power out there. And the stories are going to continue from there. Why did the train derail and everything? There's a million things that can happen. You can't prepare for all of them. All you can do is be mentally and physically prepared for anything you can, and pray for the best.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep. Hope for the best.
Yeah,
Prepare for the worst.
and
No,
at
pray
least
for the
here-
best. No, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
CR, sorry.
I was like, I know I said it right. I was like, I
Pray
know
for the
I said it
worst.
right.
No, wait, I mean, yeah, the other way around. Yeah, what he said.
Hey, Nick Mueller, welcome back, by the way.
Welcome back, everyone.
Here in Sweden, we have one channel on the radio that is dedicated for emergency broadcasts. So if something major happens, that will go to P4 or on the radio station. We tune in on P4 and they have emergency broadcast there. So, but that will last as long as they have emergency power. So running.
Broadcasting system, which is run by you know who, not the people.
I agree. Hey, Huga, good to see you again.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Hey, Nick Miller says your source of info should be trustworthy. Yeah, but today's society, when it's so much information, that is really hard to know what is trustworthy and reliable information. So you need to double check, triple check. You have to, check a lot of times.
Yeah,
where
check
the
your
information.
sources.
Yeah, and that is a lot of work. But when everything is down, that will be hard to Google it or get the information from other places.
For your information stepladder, you first need information about your really local environment. You, your neighborhood, your friends, people that are physically close, and hopefully you can figure out who's a little further away and if they're okay or not. But if there's no communication, you're kind of at a loss. Yeah. As long as you keep all your information, you start locally, then you can start to understand maybe what's going on a little further out. But if the power goes out here and everything goes down, I'm not going to know right away if, the aliens attacked and the whole planet is out of power. You're not going to know that. Speculation is going to rule that one all day long. But keep track of local, because that local is what's important to you right now. Knowing what happened halfway across the country that may have caused it isn't going to help you physically do anything and be any more prepared or less prepared. So you just got to stay very local first, and then you can venture out mentally or whatever you can to try to maybe figure out what happened in the city, in the county, in the town, in the state,
your community, your neighborhood.
Yeah, you got to keep it local to begin with, because everybody knowing, what are you going to have everybody on the street 3 days later going, oh, wow, did you hear? I heard it was an EMP in the middle of the country and the whole country's out. Well, they heard it, but nobody knows it because nobody has communication unless you can hear it on a communication. But how is that going to matter to you right now? That's great. The whole country's out. Okay, well, I'm still worried about me, not the rest of the country. Well, I'm worried about the rest of the country coming for my food, but I'm not worried about the rest of the country. Everybody's going to figure out their own way.
He means me, by the way.
Yeah, I know. Well, you're in another country, so I ain't worried about you.
No, but I
Does that
just
make
want to
sense?
bring up. Yeah. Because I was going to say, Les Terrell, he has this Survivor. He does this what he calls the zone of assessment. So what, like when he's in these quote unquote survival situations that he says, right? He usually sees what he has on him, what's within sight, and then what's beyond, just beyond the horizon, right? So on body, kind of branching out. So in the same way that you're saying, Mark, because that way because you can physically see it, or you get intel that's local. You know, it's like, what's beyond over there? What's beyond the next road? You know, did the power go out down the street too? Kind of deal. Because you know, in terms of assessing it, you'd be like, okay, I have no power here. How far is it out, right? So maybe you go out and take a look, right? Are people coming outside or checking it out or something like that? Then you can assess it. It's like, oh no, the guys across the street got power. Maybe it's very local, because it does happen, right? Some of these local power outages, you know, someone knocked out a transformer or a power line or something like that. Versus, you know, well, it was storming out and we had lots of lightning, you know, stuff like that.
Huga says there is a saying, you don't have to see the whole staircase to take the first step. You can still act without knowing it all. Yeah.
Well, that is the first step.
Take the first step, get your balance, get situated, get your foothold, then look at the next step. You can't look at the top step and just run, because there may be missing stair treads and you're going to go running.
Yeah, there might be a hole in. There's a hole.
Yeah,
or
and you're
like
done.
Yeah.
And after if this goes on for a week, why would I want to leave my comfort zone, so to speak, to venture out like a nomad to find out what's going on elsewhere in the world? I'm really at that point. I'm more worried about me. I'm not worried about finding it out, because now I'm going to leave my space and leave it unprotected, so to speak. And I can't take everything with me. And I'm not going to go walking, 4 or 5 hours in a particular direction to see something. Somebody else might, but the nomads that didn't prepare for anything, they're going to be wandering around looking for food and stuff, but they're probably not going to be coming back to give you information.
I was going to say, more one of those things, and it depends where you are, because it's dependent on elevation, but line of sight.
Yeah.
Because obviously you can have things like binoculars, optics to kind of extend your kind of sight range a little bit more. Something you can't physically see with your naked eye, and be like, wow, actually they got no power, like, way down there. This is a lot more broad than I think, or that you think, for example. Because that way you don't actually have to physically travel it, but you can actually see, oh, yeah, the lights are out way down the street,
Yeah, wait till nighttime and look up in the sky and see where the reflection.
Well, that's yeah. I mean, that's if you have the time.
Yeah, I agree. Chaos World of Fun and Slime Making. Yeah. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Good to see you again. Yeah. Yeah, and if you have enough and good, reliable information, you have to decide if you're going to bug in or bug out.
If you're gonna bug out, it better be a good reason to have to pack whatever you got and go to your other location, unless you have a redundancy, creative redundancy at your other location, in which case you can just pack some really small necessities and get out and not worry about what's left, because it probably won't be anything left after you leave. But you better, that's a hard decision right there. Am I going to leave and go and not worry about what's here? Maybe check it out in a year or whatever.
You have to make that choice yourself, right? No one else can make the choice for you. You would assess the situation, right? That's an important thing to remember, is to assess the situation for what it is. And, if you're with family, maybe make a group choice, right? So everyone's on the same page on it.
And you don't want to wait too long, because you may not be able to get there once you start traveling.
Yeah, I mean, there's that kind of window of opportunity.
Yeah.
For example, the hurricanes that happen, well, specifically on the Atlantic side of the continent, right?
Yeah.
evacuating or not, you have to make that choice, right? There's gonna be pros and cons, and stuff like that. Do you go? Do you stay? I mean, if you leave early, you might beat most of the traffic. If you leave too late, you'll be in gridlock and be not getting to a location, and maybe not getting to, say, a retreat, a bug out location, or a hotel or a friend's place in time, where you're starting to see the main part of the storm come in.
And you're not the only one that knows all the back roads either. Everybody knows back roads.
Yeah, because because as you're traveling, right, people will obviously know the side streets and all this stuff, the shortcuts.
Well, the good news is if they rely on their GPS all the time and that's down, they're going to sit on the highway and not know where the hell they're going. So as long as you know your back roads and your routes, you got a slightly better chance than the ones that have no idea how to read a map, which is a lot of people these days, apparently.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. There was something I was thinking about. Oh yeah. You also need to take in consideration after a couple of days when the gangs realize, oh, this will be a long-term situation. We need to fortify our neighborhood in the streets and take control over that. Well, in that case, we have a warlord with his or her marauders. That will be a nasty thing. You need to do something before they fortify, because when they fortify themselves and take control over the neighborhood and the streets, you might have some problems and issues to get out of your area.
Mm-hmm.
And who's fortifying it? And are they trying to fortify your neighborhood and you didn't really want it? And they're going to say, back to the old mafia, yeah, I'll protect you. You're just going to have to pay me, feed me something. And at that point, they're going to see maybe how much food you have. It's like, wait, this guy can keep feeding me? Yeah, we don't even need him in here. He's of no help. So let's just get rid of him and take his food, and we can still continue to guard our little area and keep our stuff and send marauders out to bring more supplies back so we have it, you don't. It can just go in whatever survival movie you've ever seen. Oh, yeah, everything's a possibility.
Yeah. PWD.
Yeah.
So that is something you need to take in consideration as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't want to meet those guys. You don't. Because you don't know if you get out of there alive or can pass. Because if they know there are resources in their area, the gangs try to take control and fortify the neighborhood so they have control over it. And in US especially, they will be heavily armed, and that will not be fun thing to meet. So
yeah, well, they also know that just because they're heavily armed doesn't mean the average Joe living in that house isn't also heavily armed with a whole lot of friends. And they all got together in one location to protect their own, and that could be its own problem. Yeah, but most of these gangs rely on cell phones. And if there's no communication, unless they can steal some radios from a truck stop or something, and then you can listen in on them, because you just better know Spanish.
Yeah. The problem with gangs is that they already have a structure in place and are used to work as a team. Yeah.
And therefore, your own family should have a structure and a plan in place too.
Mm-hmm.
Like them. Or your friends, or your community, or your neighborhood, and so forth and so forth. Your mag or your Mac, however you want to say it.
I noticed a lot more gang activity when they put a truck stop here. Yeah. Yeah, I bet you do.
Hmm.
And they wait for the truckers to leave their vehicle and lock it up, leave it running to go inside to take a shower, and they steal the truck.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that happens
Yep.
a couple of times.
Yep. And usually the truck's abandoned later, but all the goods are gone because there's value in the goods.
Yeah, especially when it's maple syrup. I remember that debacle. when they stole that maple syrup up in Canada, truck like $500,000 worth of fresh maple syrup, and it just disappeared.
Yeah, but
That was
if that
years
is a
ago.
truck, if that is a truck who transport ammo,
Those trucks,
that
they're
would
not. There's no big trucks that
It could be
transport ammo.
water.
That's usually FedEx and UPS, and those guys are armed if they're carrying that much, and it's military stuff, so you ain't getting near that.
It could be water too, right? I mean,
Yeah.
like in certain situations, right? That water might be so
water,
valuable.
medicine, water, medical supplies.
Hmm. Hmm.
I think the first places that are going to get taken over are going to be the big
Hey,
super
Glenn's.
logistics centers for Walmart, Target, all the big places that supply supplies to all the
So
stores.
Target would be a target.
Target's a Target.
Yeah,
That would be my first choice. It's like, oh, because there's a lot of food, water, canned goods, box goods. Not that you need the flat screen TVs or the clothing. The clothing could be helpful in the long run, but there's
Hmm.
just so much stuff in there. Yeah, that would be one of the first places if I had to be a marauder, I'd be going there and get what I need, or just bring a lot of people and take the place over and set up a guard shack on the roof and claim it
yeah,
for myself.
and they would probably steal a lot of bows, crossbows, and things like that too.
Yep. Whatever, any sporting goods that are in there. Heck, you got all the tractor trailers that are probably sitting outside full of diesel fuel. So you got that going for you too.
Yeah. So the trick here is if you are going to transition from normality into SHTF world, you need to learn to adapt. If you can't adapt, you're screwed, and you need to
Mm-hmm.
adapt fast. And I can adapt to new situation pretty quick. So, but those who can't, I would feel sorry for them because
Yeah, they're gonna be
would
looking
not make
to
it.
they just want to I just want it the way it was, and they're gonna fight to try to get it back to the way it was, and they're gonna lose.
Hey, Bob, good to see you.
Hello, Bob.
I remember
See
that
you again.
drinking game. Hey Bob, hi Bob. I think none of you are old enough to remember that drinking game from the Bob Newhart show.
Yeah, Bob, adapt or fail.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta be able to roll with those metaphor
Hey,
punches out
Pepperbrook
there.
Club, good to see you.
Hi, Pepperbrook Club. I mean, you. It's easier to adapt when you have something to use, gear, knowledge, skills, the experience, right? Because you can transition over to something else a little bit easier because you have something. For example, let's just say solar power, extra water, skills like knowing how to cook, experience and situation maybe from before because you've gone through a hurricane before or a storm before like that or power outage, right?
Hey, hi to whoever's in the background there at Shadow Scout's house. She was waving.
I didn't notice that. I
I
keep
did. That's
missing
what
everything. I keep
see, that's
missing
the thing.
everything on screen.
I see movement. That's where your eyes go. You just look to where the movement is, and somebody was waving and smiling.
Eh,
Yeah, there are always someone who do that. So
she needs to hold a sign up. I'm just saying.
Hi.
yeah,
Yeah, like you said, it's slow at first. I said it's slow at first, then all at once. The slow at first is just everybody trying to figure out what's going on, and then all at once is when it all hits. It's like,
yeah,
okay, nothing's coming
Grumpy.
back.
The miss is just dropped in.
So there's no, you just gotta roll with whatever you can. And hello, haven't have enough things ready to go at your disposal that no happens, you can figure something out pretty quick, because you're going to need to, depending on how long something goes on for. If it's only a week, it'll be a crappy week for everybody. And it'll be another crappy week or two for everybody to get back on track again. But if it goes on, it goes downhill quick.
Yeah, I agree with that. Definitely. When it begins, it goes quick. You need to be vigilant when it comes to the signs after that, and keep an eye on what's going on, and because there will be signs that shows you that it could be, it's on its way to turn out to be worse, much worse. So
I think the first signs here in the States are not going to be a electrical collapse or anything like that. It's going to be a financial collapse.
yeah, I agree with you about that, Mark. I agree. That is what I have heard as well. The U.S. financial status is not good,
No.
and it goes to be even worse. So, well, again, that is what I have heard when you guys in U.S. Mention the food prices. They are ridiculous, considering how they were a couple of years ago.
Well, here's the thing, and it's tough for anybody to wrap their head around it the first time until you really think about it.
Yeah,
It's not that our prices are going up. It's that the dollar is becoming worth
buying power.
less and less every day, because they just keep printing it for no reason. There's nothing to back it up. The more they print, the more there is, the less it's worth. So your food doesn't cost more. You're just not getting a raise at your job because your company's just like, well, no, you can't give. I can only give you your 2% this year.
Exactly.
But everything went up
You have
20%.
You have less buying power with it.
Yeah, it's your dollar. So easiest way to explain that is in 1933, if I had 1 ounce of gold and $20 in the United States, with that 1 ounce of gold or $20, I could buy a 4-piece suit, a hat, shoes, wool socks, a cane, everything to be the best looking gentleman out there with the gold piece or the $20. Now bury both of those in the ground and dig them up today. That gold piece will still get me pretty much all that stuff. That $20 will get me 2 Happy Meals at McDonald's. So gold didn't go up in price. The dollar went to the toilet.
Yeah. Good point.
I got to grab a bottle of water here.
Yeah. Feel free to do that. All of a sudden, there is not a regular food coming, power intermittent, 18s, shutdown, etc. Yeah. Bob wants to join. No, Bob, it's not.
We had
to reboot everything. There you go, Bob. Well, sorry, Bob. It was wrong. I have to. Wrong channel. Right channel, but wrong link.
Wrong channel. We're on the wrong channel, Mark. Okay, let's go. Everyone, we're on the wrong channel. The same channel, Scout Swede.
Well, there you are, Bob. Well, I had an issue with a troll, so.
All that means, Shadow, is that you're getting popular.
There you are, Bob.
Aren't trolls just lovely?
Now, delete your comment there, Shadow.
Yeah.
I did. I just did.
Yeah.
Yeah, trolls are wonderful.
Excuse
Well,
me.
that means you're doing something right, at least.
Yeah. Once you start getting hate, that's when your channel's becoming fairly successful. Yeah. Yeah. I've been through shit hit the fan. You guys, I've talked about this. Real shit hit the fan. I've been through martial law 5 times. Man, I think it was, well, one of the guys on this live asked me, what is the first thing that you see? As soon as you see the military in the street, as soon as you see the soldiers in the street, you're in for a world of shit. You can live okay with financial collapse, or even with the loss of the internet, et cetera, et cetera. It doesn't affect you that much. But when you see soldiers in the street, that's when it gets personal, and you got to adapt quick. Because I was a foreigner alone, and there's a lot of hands-on during martial law. I got searched how many goddamn times, man? How many times? Don't scream, don't squeal. You'll not see any of these activists going, "Oh, you're raping me." Martial law, you don't have any rights. Doesn't matter where you're at. You have none. You know, you're going to get a soldier butt stroking you right in the back of the head, and they'll kill you if they want to.
You ain't getting medical attention after that.
Yeah,
no, you're not.
If you get them a reason to do so.
Yeah, that's the thing is the best word for martial law is compliance.
Do as they say.
Exactly.
Do as you're told. That makes everything easier.
Yeah.
Roll with the punches.
It's scary. I'm not kidding you guys, because my first time in it, I didn't know what the hell was going on. You know, what is this? The locals, they've been through it before, so they pretty much knew what was happening. But that's when the locals stopped talking to the foreigners.
Okay, Shannon, no problem.
You know what I mean? They'll say a few words in passing, but they don't want to be seen talking to foreigners. It's a whole upside down situation, and it's very uncomfortable. It's not fun. But if you go into a situation like that with martial law, because that's real shit hits the fan. That's for real. That's not, be expecting it takes you hours to get anything done or to travel. Hours and hours and hours to travel, because you're going to get stopped in military
Welcome, Liberty Gordon. Good to see you.
Military and police checkpoints all the time. They're going to stop your car at any time, and it's happened to me. Even to this day, when we go up in the mountains in Mindanao, we get stopped and searched. Even today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh Lord, that's tough.
Yeah. They're usually pretty fast about it, because they've done this for quite a few times and they're efficient. But it is intimidating when you got a Filipino Army Ranger bring his face right down to yours, and you got to open the windows. You have to open the windows of the car and look you right in the eye. And in case if you're not familiar, 3 slow eye blinks means that you're being held under duress. Just 3 times, and then the shooting starts, because they don't have to say stop. Put your hands in the air. Wait, you're a different skin color. Please comply. It doesn't happen. They start shooting.
That is scary.
That'd be interesting to happen in America, where everybody's a different skin color.
Well, I'm trying to touch on that woke stuff. The woke stuff goes away. There is no woke stuff when you lose during martial law. It's gone. There's none, because it doesn't matter what skin color you are. If you don't comply, you're gonna get a boot party. At least that,
Yeah.
I'm
more worried in
the States about the helmets, not the green helmets.
It's all about the same when somebody's got a gun pointed at you, dude.
Well, yeah.
It's all the same. Yeah. I mean, really, when you've got to comply or die, you're going to
Yeah.
comply. You know, I don't care. You know what kind of bravado somebody on YouTube says. I won't do this, and I will fight, and I'll do it. No, you won't.
Oh, you might fight. You're gonna die, but
You're going to die. Yeah, because that's when you really see how efficient the military and the police are. They're fast. At least overseas, I know they're just as fast, if not better. Here, they practice for this stuff. You know, and one example is when we went to a housing development where my wife's relative lives. When we pulled in there, everything was normal. Everything was fine. We stayed there not long, just enough to have a snack and say hello to the relatives. Then we came out. There was armored personnel carriers everywhere. It was a combination of the police and the army. There is a big difference between the police and the army. The army will kill you. They will kill you. The police might detain you, but the army will kill you. Doesn't matter who you are. If they get their marching orders to pull the trigger, they'll kill you. You know. But we pulled in there, had a snack with the family, came back out, and there was armored personnel carriers up and down on both sides of the streets. And I mean, these guys set up a roadblock checkpoint like that, just in a matter of minutes. And their orders of the day was to detain all motorcycles with 2 passengers, with a driver and a passenger. So they started flagging people over, you know, pull over. That's how fast it happens. It's very fast, you know. If anybody's giving you advice, fight the good fight, go punch him in the face, that's an idiot. That's somebody who's never been through it and who's going to get you killed.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And besides, you wouldn't get that close to get them.
Yeah.
Finish that punch. You don't.
You don't. And
unless you're moving with super speed.
Yeah, it would be suicidal, you know.
Yeah, you would escalate the situation quite quickly.
Yeah. But I was surprised at the efficiency of law enforcement and the military over there. They get it set up to where if there is someone who resists, they're not going to shoot each other, but they're definitely going to shoot you. You know, there wouldn't be any friendly fire, but they're very fast. Yeah.
And if you have a bag with you, I suggest you don't have items in that bag that can make them think you're a threat.
Yeah.
Because you will have a like that.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And probably interrogated too.
What's this about? The RCMP. Yeah. Well, you can, whoever ATA, you can expect it here in the Northern Hemisphere as soon as the warm weather starts. That's when the riot seasons come in. That's another reason why you should have a few days of food and water in your house and a little food and water in your car, because they're going to start lighting fires again like they did last few years in protest and stopping traffic and all that stuff. So you expect it.
Yeah.
Having food and water in your house is like, if you can't get to the grocery store, it won't harm you that much. Everything will just be a smooth flow, like it was for my family. Food and water in your car in case they block off the highways, which they've done here in the Seattle area. They've done it quite a few times. You know.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I agree, because the protest has already started in Canadian campuses. Okay.
Yeah, it spreads from there. Yeah. At least Washington State did do a good thing after the George Floyd riots. Was it's if you block a roadway protesting, you're going to be arrested. Period. But it takes time for the police to show up in force to be able to scoop up all those knuckleheads and get them off the highway. Now you're going to be arrested. Prior to that, it was hit and miss, but now you're gone.
Yeah, and you probably get 3 months in jail or something.
Could be. It's going to cost you, but
Probably
you'll
a
have to
heavy
post
fine.
bail.
Post bail. Yeah. Some of those protesters are professionals, so they don't care. It's not their money that's being spent. They're being paid. Some of them are young people who are swept up in the moment, and those are the ones that are going to have to pay the price.
Yeah.
But yeah, keep some food and water because for the silly season's coming. It's already here. They started taking over the campuses and
It already started this month.
yeah. How's it up in Canada, CR? You guys okay up there?
I mean, for what it is right now. I mean, there's other things going on too, but yeah, across the campuses,
and good to
across
see you, man.
Canada and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't matter if it's out east, out west here, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't even matter. It's just kind of everywhere. You look out.
But anyway, no matter what, you need to adapt.
Yes, sir. You do. Yeah.
Yes,
And
be aware. And be aware of these situations. And are they escalating? Is it getting bigger? Is it getting wider? Is it, and stuff like that. Because you want to see these metaphoric telltale signs, right? That maybe I should trust my gut or intuition here. Because in terms of preparedness, you're giving yourself more lead time, right? More lead time to prepare, to even act, right? So you don't react, you just act. Maybe what's that called? I just lost the train of thought. Where you revert back to training, as they say, right?
Yeah.
What you've learned and stuff like that.
Thank you, Etta. I appreciate it.
Well, keep going, Shadow. I told you I don't know what to say.
Well,
I'm just piggybacking on what you guys are saying.
For me personally, I can adapt to different situations pretty quick, but there are people who can't.
Yeah.
People who really have some issues and problem to adapt to new situations. And that will be a problem for them if they can't adapt fast enough or quick enough.
They will be the problem. The ones that can't adapt at all are the ones that are going to be reacting to everything, and we can't. Those are going to be the ones that are going to be the problem.
Yeah, they will run like panicked chickens running from a fox.
If you see someone like that freaking out, get away from them as fast as you can.
Yeah, because you don't know exactly how they're gonna do things, reactive things. Maybe positive, but it could be negative.
If they see another person, they can they have that tunnel vision and they straight ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. Like if you are in martial law, which is real shit hits the fan. And someone's freaking out or looking uneasy around you, get away from them, man. You don't know what's going to happen. That guy could get you shot too because you're standing next to him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And that is not a good idea either.
Not good. Not good.
Mm-hmm.
So the best thing is to get out of a crowd of people, get away from it, because you will have you find there is problem and trouble.
Yes, because sometimes it's better to avoid confrontation when possible.
As much as possible, yes.
Certainly, you're right. You're right about that, CR. That's why you'll spend as much time as you can inside of your home.
Yeah,
as much time as you can.
As much as you can, right? For the situation.
Because my wife's generation of Filipinos, they lived through the Marcos years, and I've talked to some of them about what the real bad martial law was in the 70s, and they said, well, we'd be in our homes. Well, what did you do? Just be in your house, stay alive, because the army's in the street. And if they come down with the order, stay in your home, you better stay in your home. But
Yeah, because if there is martial law, you probably have a curfew too.
certainly. Yeah.
No, and they can set the time from 8 p.m. or 9, 10 p.m. It depends on, or
Yeah.
worse, 6 p.m. So if you work to let's say 8 p.m., you will have problem to get back home.
That's right. One of the biggest worries when my wife was growing up was her dad,
Hey,
from
Vanessa.
just that situation, him being able to get from his work back to the house. And it was a double check thing. When you left the house, you made sure you had your national ID on you at all times, all the time. And if he couldn't get off his work and get home in time, he would have to stay the night in somebody else's house. Because when they say, clear the roads, that meant clear the roads, get off the streets. That would be a big cultural shift for us in the West. We're not used to having a stranger come and spend the night. You might have to do that to save the guy's life, because
Yeah.
if you're out wandering around, you're going to get shot or at least detained and beat in the head.
Yeah, but you have another problem too. Can you trust that dude?
Exactly. Yeah. One lady I worked with, this is a story, a true story. Her name was Carol. She's Filipina. She came from Cavite, and her dad wasn't home. He was somewhere else. And it was just her mom was there with them, and she was pregnant. Her mom was pregnant, and the 4 or 5 siblings, and it was curfew, and a guy came pounding on their door, help me, they got me. And he's pushing his way into the door, and he's covered in blood. They got me. And then what took her mom, who was pregnant, and all the kids to shove the guy back outside. And then they heard gunshots, and not long after that. And I said, well, who
yes, I
shot?
remember this story now.
Yeah. And I asked Carol, well, who shot him? She goes, I don't know, but we couldn't let that guy in the house, Yeah,
you're all going to get shot if you let him in.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody got to him somewhere,
See, Wagner says, I was born in 1972. I lived in Manila. I didn't experience those things, or my family. Those communists, yes, they experienced those things.
What's that? I live in Manila. I didn't experience those things. Oh, yeah. She was younger than my wife's generation. Yeah.
Hey, Prepper for the Ages. Good to see you, ma'am.
Yeah, I was in martial law when I was in Cagayan de Oro when the battle in Marawi City began, and that was my first experience with martial law in Cagayan de Oro. I was just over the mountains from Cagayan. That was pretty scary. Seeing aircraft, 8 OV-10s, with ordnance fly over the mountains and come back with empty wings. Soldiers flying in and soldiers in the streets. Yeah, my wife was in Mindanao. Life really sucked. My wife was from Davao. Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks. Really scary sight. And besides, the military is the law. They can set up their own rules.
They can. Yeah.
They have that freedom to do so. So then, if you think the regular normal laws would be valid, forget it.
Yeah. Yeah. The problem when there was martial law in Davao, they were communists, and they're still fighting the communists in the mountains, right now. But yeah, the Chinese communists is still the problem until now. Yeah. They fund rebel groups in the Philippines, and the army is actively out there hunting them and having some success. Let me see who this. I think I'm already subscribed to her. Well, yeah. Sorry, I didn't want to put a downer on your topic, but just giving you guys my firsthand experience that a real shit hit the fan.
Well, I
Oh, that's all
appreciate
good,
that.
Bob. It's
That's
the
all
story
good.
that's important here, right? The lessons that we can learn, your story, your experience, your point of view, right? So we can metaphorically be in your shoes at that time and kind of picture it for ourselves, Maybe I'll stay really low key here. That's your choice.
And besides, I think there will be not that much sleep as you think you can get.
Mm-hmm.
There will be.
Yeah, you'll probably be in a heightened sense of awareness for adrenaline rushing for your system for long periods of time.
I think a big problem in the States, if we get martial law here, is going to be, a whole lot of these woke kids deciding, curfew's not for me. They can't do anything to me. And they're going to go out after curfew, and then crap's really going to get real. And then they're going to scream, and then there's going to be a lot of bad stuff happening for a very short time as they start to realize, okay, wait a minute, nobody gives a crap about my ideals. Let me just stay home.
Good to be warned. I haven't experienced that yet. Either do I.
Well, there's a lot of us that probably haven't experienced that. So,
Miss C. Vargas, sorry for my bad pronunciation, but I just connected with your channel. Betterness, yeah. I just connected with your channel. Saoko's from Davao City, so left you a message.
In regards to SHTF, I think it won't be just one, but multiple scenarios going off at once. Yeah, the risk is that can happen, yeah.
Well, depending on the situation, certain things might compound together because the way that it escalates. We've seen this before, right? Where there's a starting point, right? Then something else happens, then it starts to add upon the problem or the issue that's going on. It just spirals downwards to a certain degree.
That is awesome, man.
We got a Canadian and a Swede here, but to a certain extent, shit has already hit the fan here in the States, and it's just now infecting Sweden and Canada. With what I'm talking about is the flood of addicted narcotics and amphetamines.
Fentanyl.
Fentanyl, meth, all that. That's already. Now, if this is my mentality, in the U.S. we've had 8 million people come across the border, and they're settling in. But here's the situation: is that there's only so many jobs. You know what I mean? There's only so many jobs for these people, and the government money that they hand out that you hear so much about doesn't last that long. Shit's already here. It's already here. It's already started. And, that's why you'll see on my channel, me hardening my home. And, there's only so many people who are going to be able to get the jobs to be able to maintain themselves financially. And that's what I'm talking about. It's already here. We're living through it right now. You know.
Nick has a question for you, Bob. What goes through your mind in those martial law situations?
It's kind of moment by moment. For me anyway, it's like everything. The first time was scary because I was alone in Cagayan de Oro City, and I had no one really to talk to other than one. I was there to do a charity for cooking and feeding the hungry people, and I only had one person to contact, and so I was alone, and that was scary.
Oh, I
But
imagine.
it really was, CR. And what goes through your mind?
I mean, you don't even have anyone to be brave for.
Well, yeah, and I had no one to. I had a hell of a time just getting into a taxi because I was a white guy all alone, and just to try to get from my hotel in Cagayan to the airport. That took a lot of money, guys.
Yeah,
It took a lot of money.
Yeah, I bet it did.
Because the usual taxis would not pick me up because I'm the only white foreigner around who's traveling. And one of the guards at the hotel called a friend of his who had a car, and he's talking to his friend, and he said, he'll give you a ride to the airport, but it's very dangerous, sir. That means it's going to cost you. Because I called the hotel called several taxis, and they show up, they see me, and they take off. They're not going to have a white guy in their taxi. They're not going to do it. And but that was a very expensive ride to the airport. But what goes through your mind? I've been through it 5 times over in Mindanao, and the first time I didn't know what the hell was going on until one of the guards who's searching me said, "This is martial law, sir." Went, oh, okay. No, yeah, this was like the 25th guard who did hands-on searching before I could even get into the airport. You understand? I mean, this is very invasive, and because I was going out of my mind. What the hell's going on? What are you doing? Why am I getting searched again? This is martial law, sir. He said it very softly under his breath. Oh, shit.
Thank you for the reminder.
Yeah, because but during the 4 other times I've been through it, I was with my family over there, and I had someone to talk to, so that put me at greater ease. And then I would watch the family, what they did, and it was there's checkpoints. We were having to drive through checkpoints, and they'll search the car, and I'd say that just basically be compliant.
Yeah.
Shut your mouth. Don't complain. Just do what you're told. Just do what you're told.
And don't hide anything.
No, you don't want to hide
Definitely
nothing.
Don't
man.
hide anything, right? They're not. You're giving them something to. Why is this here? Why do you have this? Because those are the telltale signs they're looking for to be like, I think we got the right person.
Dana, I do trust in God. You bet I do. You bet I do. I'm not a religious fanatic, but I believe that when you get some anxious situations, you just say a prayer inside your head to God, just help me out here. Stay calm.
Mm-hmm.
But the Shadow's a veteran, so am I. So standing in line for a veteran is like, you know exactly what it's like. Oh, shit. Here we go.
Yeah. Here we go again.
Here we go again.
Is the line moving?
Mm-hmm.
Bob, when you were saying about the martial law and about being searched, there is something that's been going on more and more lately. I don't know specifically in the US, but here in Canada, theft has actually gone up. So
Yeah.
there's been where security's checking you before you leave the store kind of deal now. So, I mean, if you can't handle something like that, and, if you didn't steal anything, you got nothing to hide, right? It's like,
Yeah.
I got my receipt. I'll show you all this, right?
Mhm.
I got nothing that's in the store on me, I'll be like, oh, these keys, these are my keys, right? I bought this from down the street. You guys don't even carry this here, kind of deal, right? And kind of just be transparent about it, right? Because if you're hiding something, they'll be like, yeah, they'll pick it up, right? They'll kind of sniff it out.
Well, in a way, Canada isn't already entering shit at the fan if they're searching you.
Well, I mean, I've been aware of this for a while. I mean, we're in the slow burn. It's not quick,
Yeah.
It's a slow day to day, month to month. It comes back next year again, kind of deal. So, yeah.
Bob, when you mentioned fentanyl and things like that stuff, a couple of weeks ago, I read the newspaper, and they were, I believe, 4 deaths, fentanyl, here in Sweden.
Oh, it's not going to get any better, my friend. I'm sorry to hear that. It doesn't
And
get better.
and they don't know how much of it is in the country either.
Just assume a lot more than you think.
Yeah, exactly, CR. Yeah.
I always assume in
just wanted to
situations that
mention
it's
it,
probably
but-
worse than it seems.
Yeah.
Right? I kind of think that it's more than less.
Yeah, you can figure there's more than what you see. Yeah, it's a fact because it's underground and
Well, yeah, and I mean, like, it's just like when things get reported or anything like that. I mean, that's just one point of view. There's probably other points of view that never get seen, never get talked about. No one shares, right? So, yeah.
yeah,
Yet,
that's what I
there are
mean
so
is
many people.
all of that and the theft and the attempted and successful home invasions and all that. We're already in shit hit the fan. We're here. We're here, guys. Face it. Face the facts. We're already in it. At least we are here in the States.
We're in the slow burn right now.
Yeah, we are. You're right.
Yeah, and besides, if we consider everything goes around the world, with China, North Korea, yada yada, and Ukraine and the Russians, it creates more problem, basically.
Yeah, so just conduct yourself accordingly, and if you don't know how, I recommend to start off with food and water in your house. So just basically, in case your highways are jammed up by protests and fires, you go into your house, you've got food and water.
You got no power because they burnt down the poles. Right? That's what happened to you, right?
Yeah, it did.
Bob, if I remember right.
It's already happened to us in Seattle during the George Floyd. They cut before the radicals enter your area. The first thing they do is they cut power. I've been through that. Yippee! Well, good time.
See, I do listen to you, Bob. I do listen to you. I take notes.
Yeah, you do.
Mental notes. Yeah. I do pay attention because it's the information that's important. People relaying their experiences, right? So if you experience it yourself, remember what happened to Bob, for example, to you, for example, right?
Well, I'm glad I'm reaching out to somebody. Some people are listening. We've been through it, and ways to be more than one way to cook. Several different ways to keep the lights on. You don't have or candles or whatever you have, and
solar lights,
food,
lanterns, stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. And you have food and water in the house. Yeah, Donna, you're right. Chaos brings more chaos, and that's why one of the reasons why I keep touching on food in your house, because you're quick to react with anger if you're hungry.
Well, usually you'll do stuff that you normally don't do or wouldn't want to do.
There was a thing that happened here in Sweden, actually. There was problem with the water, so they had to put out emergency water tanks. And there were people who got there with it's regulated, so you have to take two 5-liter jugs with you, nothing more. And there were people who could get there with 25-liter jugs, and they waited to fill their jugs, and they were basically they were so frustrated and desperate, so they begin almost fighting in the line for water.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if people says, "Oh no, we will help everybody, we help each other, and there will be no fights," Wait until you see desperate people.
People already
they
did that
turn
during
to Captain Caveman mentality.
People already did that in 2020 with the TP. We've already seen that happen.
Yeah,
you've already seen that happen, right? People got arrested, people got fined, people got jailed, people got hurt over it, and over crap. Sorry, say that, but literally, right?
Yeah, it's true. He's right. It's true. They were getting fist fighting, and
you saw it. I mean, you can see the videos out there.
Yeah. Hey, Anna Hayes, I connected with your channel there, Anna Hayes. Liberty Garden here. He's a good guy. He's physically preparing himself. You should see how much weight this guy can lift. He's got a home gym and he's working out. He's a smart guy for doing that. So if you got a rumble, he can handle himself.
Yeah, I mean, I've been going for walks to kind of get my cardio up a little bit more. I even walked with the backpack today.
Right on. Good deal.
Yeah. I mean, but that's next week's topic. Being in shape.
What do they say? That the worst person to fear is the person who has nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can be a real pain in the butt.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough to spot them.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that most people are not aware of is that recently in Washington State, the state government was so gracious to take away our stand your ground law. They took it away from us. Did you know that? So
Didn't hear that.
we don't have a duty to retreat, but we're no longer legally covered to stand your ground. So that changes our plan for my family if someone enters the house. I have to show if something happens and I got to dump a guy, I've got to show that I have tried everything to discourage this person and try to escape before I do something lethal.
Yeah, exactly.
They just kept coming. I didn't know what to do.
Yeah, he ran into that knife 27 times. He wouldn't stop. Sorry.
Yeah, I fell back from the garage into the house. I locked the door behind me. He kicked the door open, and then he
back to the bedroom.
Yeah, my son is upstairs and he doesn't know what's happening. So I retreated to the stairwell, and he kept following me. And then
I had to push the fridge in front of the door.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dana, they did.
You don't have enough acres on your property. Where are you going to bury him?
Yeah.
Or her.
I don't want to shoot anybody.
Nowadays, the people are more aggressive when you go shopping and out in general. Yeah.
And there's more people now. There's just more people. I mean, we keep getting flooded with so many more people.
Yeah. I saw in 1999 in the huge earthquake how mean people can get when it's about survival. Yeah. Because they are desperate. And desperate people don't care about laws, rules, nothing. They do
Well,
what they can.
that'll come into like more of a fight type of response versus a flight or freeze response. Being more
Yeah.
aggressive for a reason, right?
Hey, Kaylin.
Nobody would give me a drop of water for hours and my mouth was so dry from fear. Yeah.
Hi, Miss Kaylin.
Hey, Nancy. Good to see you.
Hi, Nancy.
Hey,
Okay,
Kaylin.
Liberty. Excuse me for a moment. I'll go get a coffee.
Yeah.
Take
Feel
care of
free
Liberty
to
there.
get a coffee.
If you're not back in 5, we'll send out the search party.
Yeah. Have to dart. Good shade. Until the next time. Thanks for stopping by, Liberty Garden. I appreciate it. Desperate people do desperate things. Indeed. Indeed, they do.
Yeah.
And the problem is, desperate people can turn out really dangerous.
That's where it's tough to make a decision. Do you want to, somebody says, oh, I just need a little food for my child. And you give them a little food. Well, now you fed them once. They know where the food is. They're going to come back. Because now they've took it. And that's a hard decision to make with your, just with your mindset. It's like you want to help people, but you don't want to help the wrong people who are not going to leave you alone and become a problem.
Yeah.
I agree.
I agree with that too, Mark. This is why one of my sayings is that, try to help someone out there, but you can't help everyone out there, unfortunately. All right? Because the more you help people, you draw yourself thinner and thinner and thinner, as they say.
Yeah.
And, there could be consequences in terms of helping, unfortunately. I mean, I want to help people out too, but sometimes it's like, if this bites me back in the ass, this is not going to be good. And you have to make that choice. Only you can make that choice.
Good discussion. Surprisingly, I enjoyed the topic host. Thank you, guys, but I need to go now. It's dinner time. Okay, no problem.
Take
Thanks
care,
for
Albert.
stopping by. And
I'm starting to get hungry too.
Nice dinner.
I'm starting to get hungry. You guys are talking about food, dinner.
Stay safe. God bless, my friend.
Talk about his freeze-dried stuff now.
Yeah. I will try to never use FEMA again because they loved
There
everything.
you go,
Yeah,
Sierra.
they do.
Picture. This is my hot dog.
Oh, whatever, Mark.
I heard that even members of your own family can turn on you when things go south. Yeah, especially if they are not prepared. Or let's say we can take your old uncle, your old uncle Kevin, knock on your door, and you have your preps, but he's not. And he came to your door and to your home and asked, hey, can I stay? I need some food and things like that. No, you can't. Hey, please let me in. Oh, no, not that fast. I can't let you in, but you have to do work. You have to work for the food. Basically.
Yeah. You gotta go water my garden here.
Yeah. If he doesn't accept that, he has to do some chores to have some food. Well, if he doesn't accept that,
speak of food, I'm eating soon.
But it would be ideal. That might sound cold, but and if you have talked to him before the event happening and he doesn't, oh, nothing happened, will not happen, or anything like that, or very naive view on things. No, the government will help us, and then yada yada, the whole story about that. But when things happened and he didn't, I would tell, hey, I told you this a couple of years ago and years after that. So why didn't you listen to me? I was right. You were wrong. So, well, he has to pull some work for you if he wants to stay in your house or and do and have some food. So he have to help to provide.
You gotta chip in. Bless you.
Yeah, that was the missus who sneezed.
Yeah. She always sneezes.
Kaylin says, my mother will always come first. She's not very mobile, so I want her to have all her needs met. Good point. Well, you help her with that, so I can
Yeah.
agree with that. Because you need, if somebody is not prepared, and especially if it's a family member or if it's an uncle or aunt, well, they have to accept that fact. If you have told them, you should be prepared, and if they can't accept it before things go south, they have to obey your rules. If you want to stay here, you have to help us provide with food and things like that, and fix damaged things, do repairs and things like that. Prepper for the Ages says, for most people, transitioning into an SHTF mindset will be too much to handle mentally. For most people, yeah. Hey there, Love Survival. Good to see you, brother.
What up, the real?
Going
by the way,
out,
by the
electric
way,
and
you guys,
gas,
I'm eating now.
food, spending money for a few days a week. Yeah.
By the way, I'm eating now. You guys get persuaded me. We're not even joking.
For Mother's Day, I have her a couple of bottles of Theanly and antacid she can use. Good timing as she was out of it. Yeah, good timing. What's on the menu, CR? Meant Gabe, yeah. Can you imagine the people already on government assistance when no money lands in their accounts? No EBT for food, no rent assistance, no medical. Oh yeah, Prepper for the Ages. That will mess things definitely up.
Well, not only that, but they won't. They may not even have anything to fall back on. You know, to buy themselves some time, whatever it is. Let's say food, water, for example.
Well, have your preps in order. It's like to have insurance.
Yeah, it's insurance you don't have to wait on hold for,
Exactly.
as I say, and you can readily access it.
It means if you have your preps in order and everything like that, and if everything goes south, well, you can survive and thrive, basically, and you can have it pretty comfortable. So you can have it pretty comfortable, actually. So you can be close to normal. not normal, but close to it, as you possibly can. So,
Sorry, I'm eating. I'm trying not to talk
yeah,
with my mouth full.
yeah,
I am
that's
listening. I am listening. I am listening though.
yeah, that's a good point. Don't eat
I
with your
don't know where
mouth
Bob
full.
and Mark are.
Bob is getting his coffee, and
Yeah, he probably had to heat up some water. Or he's just gonna walk back right now.
yeah,
Welcome back, Bob.
welcome back, Bob.
Okay, thank you guys. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a prepper for the ages. It's a yeah, that would compound the problem when they don't have any income at all. Yeah, that would be, and there's like millions of them out there right now. That would be very uncomfortable. That's when life would be down to the bare minimum for people like me, because I would be spending my whole time standing guard on the house,
Yeah,
not being able to achieve any more gardening or any extra stuff. I would be here with a rifle on my shoulder. That's what I would do. That's how I would react. If things started getting crazy.
yeah, and it's a good deterrent too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, most people avoid people who has their rifle on their backs.
That's a fact. Yeah, that's a fact.
Because if you mess with a guy like that,
Yeah.
will have a pretty good sucker punch,
Mm-hmm.
and most people don't take that risk.
Yeah. To me, the dumbest thing in the world would be showing aggression to a guy, an armed man, in front of his house, his own home. That's like asking for that's suicide, man. Because
Yeah,
behind him is his wife and children, and if he's got a 45 on his hip, is like, "Hi, neighbor. Hey, bud."
during the pandemic, the people on food stamps accidentally got paid twice and were told to make up for it. They wouldn't get paid the next month. A lot of the food stamps got sold for cigarettes. Yeah, I'm
Oh,
not
they will.
surprised.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
When the next month came, they had their hand out because they didn't have that assistance for food. Yeah.
Poor judgment. Mm-hmm.
Indeed.
Well, they probably assumed it's like, oh, I'll still have next month.
Yeah,
This is a
that's what they were
bonus,
doing.
right?
You're
But
doing it. Yeah, you're right.
but didn't realize that no, it's not gonna be like that. Sorry, I'm still eating.
No problems here. You eat. He needs to fill his belly, but he will probably, when he finished that, he will probably be hungry again after an hour.
Well, who's
it.
who's the icon up there? Somebody came into the chat. Someone left and came in.
No,
That's Mark.
he left that hot. Yeah, he left that hot dog there.
Oh,
You sure is taking a long time. I thought he was getting water.
Mad Chick something. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Mad Chick Acres.
Chef Tech.
Yeah,
Oh,
alternate channel.
Yeah.
Runs under.
oh.
While waiting at the bus stop or to cross the street, I heard people openly calling for a buyer of their EBT cards for cash. Okay.
Oh.
I have no idea what EBT cards is, but
it's a debit card for food. That's a government debit card for food. Yeah.
I wasn't familiar with that actually. I mean, I've known people to, let's say, pawn stuff off. Not necessarily for food later, but for the cash
Mhm.
itself. So
Yeah.
it's very common to see that, especially in urban area. So you would just imagine if things escalated even more, right? So
Yeah. Scary topic, isn't it?
Well, it's scary, but it's needed to be mentioned.
Yeah, it should be. But someone asked me a good question. What was going through your mind during all the martial law and all that? You've really got to you've really got to take one thing at a time. If someone else wants to frisk me again, okay, got through that. Now, all right, now someone wants to check my papers again, one at a time. Don't let it overwhelm you. Just keep breathing, stay calm, keep breathing.
yeah, just pretend you're just going through the airport
Yeah,
again and again and
again
again
and
and
again and
again and
again.
again and again, or through to a law courthouse or something like that. That
Yeah.
kind of
Hmm.
active. What do you have on you?
Yeah, but I got mad respect for the Philippine military because when I finally did get to the airport and finally got in the airplane and took off is when I really saw what was going on around. Those guys react so fast. They had already dug mortar pits around the airport. Anti-aircraft guns were out there, 50 cal machine guns, sandbag bunkers. They threw that stuff up like that. Their soldiers are good. They're very fast. They're very professional. Yeah, but the thing that freaked me out was when you're looking at the airport and you're trying to get into the building and get on the airplane, you can't see that stuff from where I was at until we got off the ground and went, holy shit. There's 81 millimeter mortar pits all over the place, in case you got to keep the air traffic open. You have to,
Yeah.
and they fortified that airport in no time, man. Oh, I'm sure they do, Kalen. Our military does too. Yeah. Yeah. One of the best training is all the veterans that came back from Afghanistan and Iraq. They're trained. They know what they're doing, you know.
Yeah, you learn to set things up pretty quick when you've done
Quick.
it a couple of thousand times.
It just becomes routine. Give me another sandbag. Start filling it up, give me another sandbag. Keep it going. Keep it going.
Yeah.
Were you blessed with filling
I
sandbags when you were in the Swedish army? Did you ever get
Uh,
that joy of filling sandbags?
no, actually, they were already filled. So, but we have to stack them
Stack them. Yeah. Huh?
on top of each other and build a pit, and
Yeah.
then we have to camouflage it on the front.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Bob, I've never filled sandbags, but can't be that
can
much
hear in
more.
your head, Bob. Just 15 checkpoints down, 37 to go.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I was gonna say, Bob, I've never filled sandbags, but I'm pretty sure snow is the next close second.
Hey, BC Gerbs, good to see you, brother. How are you doing?
Yeah, it was filling sandbags with those. I still got my old entrenching tool. It's on the wall up there. My made in
Like a
19.
plaque.
Yeah, it is. Made in
Badge of honor.
1968. Yeah,
Badge
made in
of honor right there.
1968. Yeah,
Hey, Bushcraft family, good to see you, brother.
yeah. Good old E tool. Yeah, I still got
I'm
it.
Bushcraft family.
Known as muscle memory after doing it so many times. Indeed.
Yeah, you know how I
Yeah.
got to show. You know how I got to show things.
Hey, Peace Journey, good to see you.
Hello, hello. I always like when Bob shows stuff. It's like show and tell.
Yeah, show and tell. That's always fun, especially when it comes to Bob. He has always great stuff. Well,
You know,
well,
I
it's
was
fun.
tempted to show my food, but it's almost gone. Sorry. I couldn't wait. I told you I don't have much to say about this.
Yeah.
I'm only kind of, the co-host here.
You're just here for the snacks. I know.
No, I'm already eating, Mark.
Kaylin says, Bob, no doubt this
There it
is
is.
much better quality than the ones produced these days. I agree with that.
Yeah, this one was U.S. It was Ames, the Ames Shovel Company, 1968. The old E-tool, I was in the Air Force, and what they did with us is they'd take us younger airmen during an exercise, put a bunch of us into trucks, and take us out in the desert. And we just start having to fill up sandbags, bring them back onto the base, start stacking them up around the buildings and doorways. And God, that sucked, man. That is a workout. And at the end of the exercise, guess what? You got to put all those sandbags back on the truck, haul them out in the desert, dump the sand back in the desert.
Oh,
Yeah, because
man.
the desert knows
What
it's
a
missing the
nightmare.
sand at that point.
Oh, it was
Leave no trace.
yeah.
We can't leave a trace out there of what we did.
Oh, it was crazy, man. But when you're a young airman, no stripes or one stripe, maybe, get on the truck, go. They got shovels waiting for you. It's like, I wanted to join the Air Force and work on airplanes. Well, this is part of it.
I wanted
Shut
to go
up.
fly. I wanted
Yeah.
to fly.
Well, that's just part of it. Shut the hell up. This is what's called an E-tool, an entrenching tool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Our
I still got my
entrenching
dad's
tool
from
here in Sweden,
1962.
we had the shaft were much longer.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, so it was probably this size,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then you fold the blade, so it was, and then you had a carrying bag pouch for it. So you had a shaft like this sticking down on the back. Oh man, that was not really fun, actually.
Mm-hmm. All that for what, $100-something for every 2-week paycheck.
Well, they say you guys need to get in shape. But we're working on airplanes. We don't need to get in shape. Oh yes.
We're going to make sure you are.
You have no idea how much heavy work that is. You need to get in shape, boys.
Yeah. We were in shape. Yeah, we were able to handle it, but no, I remember doing that and so many other weird things like that. And I just kept in mind September 18th, 1988. September 18th, 1988. That was my last day in the Air Force.
Yeah.
I signed up.
Only another 1,000 days to go.
Yeah, like that. It was a 4-year enlistment. Man. I was like September.
Next day, 999.
Yeah.
Almost there.
Most of the time wasn't too bad. Yeah.
Remember this for next week's topic, because that's what we're going to be talking about, right? Next week's topic about being in shape. Keep that in mind. Yeah. Speak on that topic.
Yeah, I'm gonna think about that.
That is next week's topic
here.
Yeah, let's not jump into that too quick.
I live
So
in a
back on
small coastal
topic,
city on the
how many
Atlantic.
how many people
Yep.
really think that after all the things you've done and you've learned and all that, that crap's going to hit the fan, and in 2 weeks you're going to have a whole community set up, and you're going to be planting a garden, and you're going to have your own trading system set up? Nah, it doesn't work that quick.
No, it
That
doesn't go
takes
that
No,
fast.
no.
years.
No, not that fast.
Actually, that's probably
Years.
stuff you should be doing now.
Yeah,
Probably better to be doing
start
now, more
networking with your friends and
proactive.
that. And know what you
Go
got. Know where.
grow those gardens right now.
Oh yeah.
Because
I
I've noticed more people are gardening. There is actually,
Oh yeah.
and then not just flowers, right? But they're actually trying to grow something to eat.
in my situation, I got, food that we eat every day stored away, because
But
how long does it how long does it take a garden to grow? How many months for one ear of corn? And if
I
you
mean,
don't have
even the
that
fastest
backup,
stuff like radishes, I mean, it
Yeah.
still takes some time. I mean, it's not like 2
It's
weeks later.
weeks.
Oh, hey,
yeah,
the
yeah,
only
exactly.
food, the only thing you can grow in a garden that grows fast is microgreens. But
I agree with that.
even that, you got to grow a lot of that to sustain you in the
Mhm.
long term.
And you're probably not going to do that in a garden. You're probably going to do that in a house somewhere, hopefully, or
Yeah,
well,
yeah, or in
you can do it in
containers
a
or
garden.
something like that. Yeah.
In the backyard, yeah, you better put your garden in the backyard. Don't have it in sight, But yeah, Phil, I see a lot of this on YouTube that people neglect to mention. Get food stored away right now and then move into gardening. Oh no,
Yeah.
I'll plant a garden. Well, dude,
Yeah,
seeds
6
don't
months later,
always
you're a little
grow.
hungry.
Yeah,
Ger-
you're still
That's what they
hungry.
call the germination rate,
Yeah.
right? I mean, like all the gardeners out there, they direct
I
sow
bought a
or
freeze
plant
dryer.
a lot of seeds,
Mhm.
Yeah.
increase your odds.
Anne says, my husband listened to you guys now, and for the first time he says we should clear the cellar and pack it with food and water as if it's
Yeah, you
his
should.
idea now.
Yeah.
Lol. That's a
Yeah,
good point.
yeah.
Look, that is as it should be, okay?
Yeah. And I would suggest don't okay, I would suggest store away food that you eat right now.
Mm-hmm.
And
Rotate it.
how I did it was, it was just incrementally. I'd go to the supermarket. Okay, I like this brand of chili, and 5 cans will sustain me today for the week, and then buy 2 extra and put them away. Just one piece at a time, just slowly, slowly, slowly.
Well, another reason for doing that is because the date on it will be different every time. So as you're doing the rotation of it, right,
That is
you can
good.
keep on the
That is
rotation
good.
of the goods, rice, beans, canned, onward and onward, right?
Yeah.
Because it'll get you into that motion of doing
Michael Hood, welcome to the stream.
it'll give you that into doing rotation, right? And checking your stuff
Yeah.
and maintaining it and all that stuff, right?
6 months food plus
And then it'll
seeds,
just become
6 months for garden to grow. Good.
second habit, or I mean, I forget what that term they use now. You'll know it like the back of your hand, and you'll just be like,
Awesome.
yeah, it'll just be something you just
Awesome,
do.
man.
You won't even think about it anymore. It's just something you do, right? You walk in there, it's like, okay, yeah, do some inventory, okay. We could use some more rice or beans or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're down to the last 2 bags. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. You need to. You can't just put in too much. You need to take in consideration how much space you have.
Yeah, Anna, just take it one little step at a time. Just, and your husband and your family go down into that basement and have, make it a work party and start cleaning junk out, because you don't want junk around, because that gives places for rodents to hide. And you don't want, and if you suspect that rodents are in your basement or wherever you're going to store your food, only store canned food in those areas. Store your dry foods.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
no boxes. Maybe use glass, for example.
Yeah.
You can get. I found 55-gallon drums online that had food they have these giant bags of avocado or guava or something in there. You could buy the 55-gallon drum with the removable lid and the hasp on it, and you can use those. That's rodent proof. I mean, it's almost bulletproof.
Mhm.
But I used that in my cabin. I got probably enough food to last just me out there like 6 months, just freeze dry, because I run my freeze dryer constantly, and I make my own food.
I'm
I make
glad
what
I
I
ate.
like, and I just need water, and I got a small hand pump out there and a stream, so not worried about the water, not worried about the food. Other than that, everything else is a bonus.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because once you square away some stuff, you can start focusing on other stuff, right? And you
Right.
kind of
Right.
get your overall prepared. All those more of the circles getting bigger and overlapping.
Yeah, you're right, Ciara, but you got to get your food and water first.
Mhm.
And I do that. I've done that, and then I moved into stuff like how to light up the house, because it's scary in the dark, especially if you have kids. And so I
Well,
started.
not only that, you don't want to stub a toe, fall, slip.
Right, it's for
If you got
safety.
a kids around, right? There's toys on the ground, right?
Yeah, and then how to make candles. That's a good project to begin with.
Mm.
Because I've got a lot of my bases covered, but I've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah, me
And
too.
Yeah.
I think you and I are
I've
about
been.
the same age, Bob.
Oh, are we? Okay, yeah. And I sleep well at night, because I know if power fails, oh well, I'll just go light a couple of candles, and
Yeah, I
if we're
got some solar lights.
yeah, got some solar lights. Yeah,
Exactly,
yeah,
right? Because it gives you a little, not confidence, but
Yep.
peace of mind.
Yeah,
Yeah,
peace of
exactly.
mind.
It gives
Yeah,
you some peace of mind, right? Just in case, you're not up the creek without a paddle. Because I think what happens is that in certain situations when you're not prepared, that's where the stress comes out, right?
correct. Yeah,
Because
it
you had
does.
no options, you're up the creek without a paddle, you're starving, hungry, in the dark, thirsty, something like that. Because the threat level increases.
Mm-hmm.
Versus if
Especially,
you did prepare beforehand, you might have someone to give you to raise your morale up. It's like, oh, okay, this is bad, but at least I'm a little bit more prepared, so your morale's not like
yeah,
down the hole.
especially if you're the man of the house. That is your responsibility. That's your obligation.
Yeah, or the adults in the household.
Yeah, and to make sure that the family's taken care of. And years ago, it was kind of in the back of my mind, when I first started doing all this stuff. Well, yeah, I only got a few cans stacked up. How long is this going to take? But I just took my time, took it
Yeah,
slow
see,
and
there's
easy. Yeah.
preparedness is not a marathon. Sorry, preparedness is not a sprint. It's a marathon. It's a long-term
Yeah.
thing that you
Yeah, it is.
consistently
It is.
keep doing.
It is.
It becomes part of you, right?
Yeah.
Where you don't even think about it anymore. You're just like, hey, Sierra, what are you doing? I'm just doing some inventory.
Yeah.
Some of my friends, when I tell them I'm doing inventory, they're like, "You're always doing inventory, Sierra." I'm like, "Well, I'm just
Mhm.
making sure everything's in running order, right? Running
Yeah.
order, so I'm not because you don't want to assume stuff. You want to make sure. When's the last time you actually checked that bag? When's the last time you actually checked that stuff, right? Because when it starts to happen, you start to assume, and when you make assumptions, you get burned. Because someone throws a monkey wrench in the works, you're like, oh, damn it.
Yeah, I did the food and water first, and then that was I did it in sections. Like you can check my channel. I've had my channel open doing different things for 10 years now. You can see the sequence that I've followed. In with this was also how to protect yourselves. Like I didn't show the martial arts that my family went through, because that's a no-no. My wife's Asian, and they don't show that. They don't talk about it. They don't show it. You keep your mouth shut about that. But firearms, I taught the whole family firearms, and we'd go out as a family and practice and practice and practice and practice. And then you move, but first I did stuff like making candles and getting lanterns together. And but because I already knew that the family knew martial arts, and I had sidearm, and I firearms. But then we progressed up to the point to where the whole family's learning firearms.
Yeah, so you
And
basically you're increasing that circle and making these
right,
circles of preparedness
step.
overlap, like food, water,
Hmm.
security, first aid, so forth, communications,
Yeah,
power, stuff like that.
yeah. Anna's got a good thing right there. We're not allowed firearms. You can you here you go, Anna.
I'm not allowed to have it either. So
That's a shovel handle right there. Learn how to use one of these. Just a stick, and a knife. A stick and a knife. Yeah.
And stick with it. I mean, with the preparedness, I mean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's strike one, CR.
The orders would be like,
But,
I'll fire you again, CR.
yeah, I might.
He would say
I
that.
might have to. I might have to. Yeah. Yeah. Learn.
these are homemade fire starter.
Perfect.
Rolled paper, newspaper with wax
Mhm.
on it.
Yeah.
I've made multiple different versions,
Oh, I've got.
tried out
Yeah.
different things with it, right?
I've got so many. Yeah, I've made a lot of those. Those are a good thing. You could even do those in your kitchen if you don't have a workspace. Do it on your stove top.
Another reason I just realized, and Bob will support the statement I'm going to say, as I've said it before, is that in situations like these, right, when things are getting out of control, whatever, you have to do something constructive to improve your situation, because it'll give you something to strive for, constantly improve your situation, your stance. Even if it's a little itty bitty step, right? Remember, little itty bitty steps can add up in the long term, right?
That's right, CR.
And it keeps your mind busy too, right?
Step.
Because
Yep.
I think what starts to happen is that you're like, I don't know what to do, and then because your morale will start to dip.
Yeah.
Once you start saying stuff like that, because I've seen people at times. I'm just like, they get so angry because my internet's been out for a whole week. Something like that.
Yeah, internet goes out for an hour and the kids freak out these days. They don't know what to do with themselves because there's nothing to stare at. They have to look at the world and not.
I mean, it's one thing if you need the money from like your Patreon or PayPal or someone's an important email that's really, really important. I get that, but I mean, like, comments can wait, and stuff like that. Movies that you're watching on Netflix can wait.
Yeah, I speak during the George Floyd riots here in Seattle area. Our power was cut when the radicals came to our area and they started lighting fires. And I was home with my she was a teenager then with my teenage daughter, and I was always in the center of the house, and I was making waxed fire starters, just tying the stuff together because there's no power. They cut power. There's no power. Had a lantern hanging up in the living room, and it really put my teenage daughter's mind at ease because she knew where Dad was at. Dad was in the house, and I know I've told this thing 1,000 times. I was wearing a sidearm, and she would come down and get a drink of water every 15 minutes, but she was scared, And later on, after nightfall, she'd come down and get her 25th glass of water, with big wide eyes, and I'd say, "Hon, darling, you okay?" Just shake her head every time. Just, I got my shotgun here. You're safe. You're all right. I'll warm up some noodles or something soon.
Some reassurance.
Yeah. And then
someone's got your back.
Yeah, she knew that the Dad's not going anywhere. I didn't have to leave the house because I already had stuff in the house, and she won't need because she was still texting with her buddies, and I'd take her out in the car. She'd plug her cell phone into the car and recharge it, and I'd pull up a lawn chair in front of the car where she could see me, just sitting there with my sidearm and standing guard, Yeah, it's just step by step. Just think. What I would suggest to anyone who's new to this stuff, if you have a power failure, have a notebook next to you and take notes about the inconveniences and what things you would change, and then go after the power comes back on and go back to normal life. Start going over your list of things that you could improve. Make more candles, buy more propane for cooking, all that. Start going just one step at a time, one step at a time.
Funny story. We had a power outage for about 12 hours. Started at about 3 in the afternoon. I was home. Wife was working. And she gets home at 8 o'clock. It's dark out. She walks in the door. She's like, "Are you seriously making roast beef?" I'm like, "No, honey. I got one of my tallow candles burning. It smells like roast beef."
Well,
She's like, "Oh my God, beef fat burns." I'm like, "Yeah, and it burns longer than wax does the way I prepare it."
Yeah, you can use Crisco shortening to make candles. I've got that on my channel. Yeah.
She wonders why.
Yeah.
Well, I also have a story.
Huga has
That
basically a question.
White flies and aphids.
Yeah.
Not sure what to do with that, Huggy. I don't have that problem here. There's got to be something.
I was going to say. Sorry about that.
Neem oil is a spray. You can try neem oil. That'll kill them. But yeah, that's another thing. Oh, grow a garden for your preparedness. Yeah, well, what are you gonna do now? Your garden's getting eaten alive by insects. That's why you got to put your food away first, and then go into the gardening.
Yeah.
And when you grow, it's like, look at all the tomatoes I grew. Great. Now what are you going to do with them? They're all going to go rotten. You can't just eat tomatoes.
Exactly. You can't just live on tomatoes.
Well, you can, but I wouldn't suggest it.
It give you the diarrhea.
Yeah, that and skin rash.
I was thinking of doing neem oil.
Yeah, I've got some neem oil. The neem oil works pretty good on the soft skin bugs, but the hard skin bugs like ants and all that, it doesn't. It does kill them, but it takes a long time.
And ants are easy to get rid of with. I buy the 5-mule borax or whatever it is at Lowe's in the box. It's a laundry booster, but it's just you mix that with some water and some sugar, make a paste out of it, and put it in a canning jar, poke some holes in it, lay it on its side. They go in there and just die. Or if it's liquid, if it's not too much borax, they'll take it back to the nest, feed the queen, and the whole nest dies.
Yeah, that's what I do. Or in the meantime, you can get a spray bottle with some apple cider vinegar and just spray them. Man, that wipes them out instantly. It just slaughters them.
Yeah, bugs breathe through their skin, so it's easy. You get them with a wetting agent. You can shoot them with a little Windex. It'll kill them pretty quick. Bees, everything.
Well, I'll have this smoke and this coffee with you guys, and then I got to get my day started.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a bunch of hours of sunlight and it stopped raining. I think I'm going to finish my trellis work for my tomatoes before they fall over and play dead.
Oh, I got there's a local coffee shop here that's privately owned, and it's a small place, and that's where I talk to strangers while I'm in there, and I get a lot of intel, you might say. I put my ear to the ground with local people about what's going on, because Seattle area is the home for radicals, But that's one reason why I go there, but I also scored just yesterday. I asked the owner, "What do you do with your coffee grounds?" And she says, "Look at the bottom shelf down there." And she says, she bags up all the used coffee grounds in huge bags, about this big. And I said, "How much?" She goes, "They're free. Just take them." Well, can I have more than one? I said. She goes, "Yeah, take all you want. They're huge bags of used coffee grounds."
There you go.
So that's a source of fertilizer. So I took 2 bags home yesterday, and I've got a 10-inch soil screen and I walked around my front yard and ground and and fertilized the soil in my front yard with coffee for free. You know, I'm going to go see if I can get another bag today.
And get a bunch of them and put them in a mulch pile. It takes about a year for them to calm down the acid value and get rid of all the stuff that won't do good for your plants, and then it's great.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. That's the score, you know. But I fertilize my grass a lot. But you know what I also use is, like when I was on a live last night, this is all junk mail right here.
Yeah.
I cut it up a little bit, and I've got a heavy duty blender. I drop it in there and turn it into a powder. Then I throw it out on the grass. You know.
Yeah, that's what I do too, Bob. I just
You should.
usually I just
It works, right?
broadcast it out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, shit. Because the worms eat it. They aerate your soil.
Yeah, in time. Yeah, in time it'll break down and it'll
It
add
does. Yeah.
structure and nutrients back into the ground, into the soil.
Yeah.
I just
that's
worry about
another
the chemicals and some of the inks and the papers that we got, like
Well,
the magazine flyers and that.
the worms
I'd
don't
probably
care.
be more worried
They
about
eat
the
it.
plastic. Yeah, I'd be more worried about the plastic.
Yeah,
like
the
tapes and
most
stuff
of
like
the
that.
most of the ink here in the States is made out of soy base. The worms, I put magazines stuff out there. The worm, just chop it up and throw it on right on top of the grass, and the worms eat it. I was out pulling some weeds in my grass because I don't use any chemical fertilizer on the grass, and I only found a few pieces of paper. They eat it. It's gone, you know, in less than a year. It's just try it. Get a good blender, turn your paper into a powder, and throw it out in your grass. It doesn't even last a year, man. The night crawlers and all that, they eat that shit.
Well, because
man.
you're also increasing the surface area.
Surface area.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Little particles, and then the worm comes up and boom, there's dinner, and he goes and lays eggs and fertilizes your soil. You know.
Yeah. I mean, something like a whole newspaper or a whole banana peel, it takes a while for the bugs to kind of pull it apart, the insects to pull it apart, the microbes to hit it. But if you increase the surface area, it just dramatically increases the decomposition time.
It sure does, ER. It really does. Yeah.
You're most welcome.
I'll probably make a video about that. All my tree trimmings, everything mulches into the soil, and I've been kind of saving the stuff up that didn't digest. It's almost nothing because I trim my trees, drop it on the ground, and mulch it, and it just disappears, man. There's almost nothing left for almost a year and a half of doing that, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a more proponent of increasing the surface area just because it's colder here. Obviously, in the wintertime, so decomposition slows down dramatically in the winter. But that's why I increase the surface area, so it doesn't just linger for the whole year. Or I don't even see it next year. I'd be like, I don't even notice it, right? Yeah. And you're improving the soil, which feeds the plants, which can feed you, and in turn can help you in certain situations, right?
Yeah, it's like my backyard. The soil is very rich right now. If I have to resort to planting a garden, the soil's all ready to go. You know, it's already amended. It's just sitting there growing grass right now. Yeah. But I'm kind of disappointed because CR hasn't done anything to get completely fucking fired today. You know, I haven't. Dude, you're gonna ruin my week if I'm not able to fire you at least once a week. You know?
Hey, Bob, I'm rooting for you. He's like
an asshole.
It's slightly lame, but goddamn it, you're fired.
No.
I'm gonna finish my coffee here. It's good talking to you guys. You know.
Good times.
Food and water first. Take it slow and easy. You'll get where you need to go. You know.
Yeah. And while you're doing that, try to grow some stuff too.
Yeah. Take care, everybody.
Later, Bob.
Later.
Later.
Yeah, I'm gonna hop off too before it starts to rain again. I got a reprieve here to get my stuff built so I can continue on my
Yeah, take
gardening.
advantage. All right.
Yep. You guys have a good day.
Yeah.
Good night. Actually,
Yeah,
have a
you
good
take
night.
care.
Take care, Mark. I'll see you
See you
around.
Take
guys.
care, Mark. Thanks for stopping by.
Well,
Well,
see.
yeah.
We got this done even without preparedness veteran. I had to step up to the
Yeah.
plate.
Yeah, he's.
He'll probably listen to this after and be like, yes.
Yeah, he would watch the replay.
Yeah, he'll tell us next week. It's like, yes. In the first one, yes, I know CR came in and all this other stuff, blah, 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 blah. Yes.
CR, I think I need to wrap things up because I have to go up early tomorrow because I have my members' day with the civil
Yeah.
defense. So I need my sleep. So that's why I wrap things up today earlier than I normally do.
It's all good. It's all good. Hey,
So-
you know what? Maybe I should do an after show. It's been a while since I streamed. I would have to charge my headset for a little bit, but
Yeah.
maybe I'll give you an excuse to go live.
Thank you guys for stopping by. I appreciate it. It's good to see you and have you here as usual.
Yeah. And go do something proactive out there, right? And learn a new skill, gain some more knowledge, gain some more experience, grow garden, you know, be more ready for the hurdles to come. And I just made that up right on the spot. It just sounded good.
Yeah. Take care. Stay safe. Stay vigilant. Stay prepared. God bless. And I will see you next week.
Take care, everyone.